Letter 1. The Magician. The wind blows where it wills, and you hear the sound of it, but you do not know whence it comes or whither it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit. John 3:8. Into this happy night, in secret, seen of none, nor saw I aught, without other light or guide, save that which in my heart did burn. St. John of the Cross. Dear unknown friend, the words of the Master cited above have served me the key for opening the door to comprehension of the first major arcanum of the tarot, the Magician, which is in turn the key to all the other major arcana. This is why I have put them as an epigraph to this letter. And then I have cited a verse from the Songs of the Soul of St. John of the Cross, because it has the virtue of awakening the deeper layers of the soul, which one has to appeal to when the concern is the first arcanum of the tarot, and consequently all the major arcana of the tarot. For the major arcana of the tarot are authentic symbols, i.e. they are magic, mental, psychic and moral operations, awakening new notions, ideas, sentiments and aspirations, which means to say that they require an activity more profound than that of study and intellectual explanation. It is therefore in a state of deep contemplation, and always ever deeper, that they should be approached. And it is the deep and intimate layers of the soul which become active and bear fruit when one meditates on the arcana of the tarot. Therefore, this night, of which St. John of the Cross speaks, is necessary, where one withdraws oneself in secret, and into which one has to immerse oneself each time that one meditates on the arcana of the tarot. It is a work to be accomplished in solitude, and is all the more suitable for recluses. The major arcana of the tarot are neither allegories nor secrets, because allegories are in fact only figurative representations of abstract notions, and secrets are only facts, procedures, practices, or whatever doctrines that one keeps to oneself for a personal motive, since they are able to be understood and put into practice by others to whom one does not want to reveal them. The major arcana of the tarot are authentic symbols. They conceal and reveal their sense at one and the same time according to the depth of meditation. That which they reveal are not secrets, i.e. things hidden by human will, but are arcana, which is something quite different. An arcanum is that which it is necessary to know in order to be fruitful in a given domain of spiritual life. It is that which must be actively present in our consciousness, or even in our subconscious, in order to render us capable of making discoveries, engendering new ideas, conceiving of new artistic subjects. In a word, it makes us fertile in our creative pursuits, in whatever domain of spiritual life. An arcanum is a ferment or an enzyme, whose presence stimulates the spiritual and the psychic life of man. And it is symbols which are the bearers of these ferments or enzymes, and which communicate them. If the mentality and morality of the recipient is ready, i.e. if he is poor in spirit and does not suffer from the most serious spiritual malady, self-complacency. Just as the arcanum is superior to the secret, so is the mystery superior to the arcanum. The mystery is more than a stimulating ferment. It is a spiritual event comparable to physical birth or death. It is a change of the entire spiritual and psychic motivation, or a complete change of the plane of consciousness. The 7 sacraments of the Church are the prismatic colours of the white light of one sole mystery or sacrament, known as that of the second birth, which the Master pointed out to Nicodemus in the nocturnal initiation conversation which he had with him. It is this which Christian Hermeticism understands by the Great Initiation. It goes without saying that nobody initiates anyone else, if we understand by initiation the mystery of the second birth, or the great sacrament. This initiation is operative from above and has the value and the duration of eternity. The initiator is above, and here below one meets only the fellow pupils, and they recognize each other by the fact that they love one another. John 8:34-35. There are no longer any more masters, because there is only one sole master, who is the initiator above. To be sure, there are always masters who teach their doctrines, and also initiates who communicate some of the secrets which they possess to others, who thus become in their turn the initiates. But all this has nothing to do with the mystery of the great initiation. For this reason, Christian Hermeticism, in so far as it is a human concern, initiates no one. Amongst Christian Hermeticists, nobody assumes for himself the title and the function of initiator or master. For all are fellow pupils, and each is master of each in some respect, just as each is a pupil of each in some other respect. We cannot do better than to follow the example of St. Anthony the Great, who, quote, subjected himself in all sincerity to the pious men whom he visited, and made it his endeavour to learn for his own benefit just how each was superior to him in zeal and ascetic practice. He observed the graciousness of one, the earnestness at prayer in another, studied the even temper of one and the kind-heartedness of another, fixed his attention on the vigils kept by one and on the studies pursued by another, admired one for his patient endurance, another for his fasting and sleeping on the ground, watching closely this man's meekness and the forbearance shown by another, and in one and all alike he marked especially devotion to Christ and the love they had for one another. Having thus taken his fill, he would return to his own place of asceticism. Then he assimilated in himself what he had obtained from each and devoted all his energies to realizing in himself the virtues of all. St. Athanasius, The Life of St. Anthony, Chapter 4. It is the same conduct which must be applied by the Christian Hermeticist in that which concerns knowledge and science, natural, historical, philological, philosophical, theological, symbolical, and traditional. It amounts to learning the art of learning. Now, it is the Arcana which stimulate us and at the same time guide us in the art of learning. In this sense, the major arcana of the tarot are a complete, entire, invaluable school of meditation, study, and spiritual effort, a masterly school in the art of learning. Dear unknown friend, Christian Hermeticism therefore has no pretension to rival either religion or official science. He who is searching here for the true religion, the true philosophy, or the true science is looking in the wrong direction. Christian Hermeticists are not masters but servants. They do not have the pretension, that is in any case somewhat puerile, of elevating themselves above the holy faith of the faithful, or above the fruits of the admirable efforts of workers in science, or above the creations of artistic genius. Hermeticists are not guarding the secret of future discoveries in the sciences. They do not know, for example, just as everyone at present is ignorant of it, the effective remedy against cancer. Moreover, they would be monsters if they were to guard the secret of the remedy against this bane of humanity without communicating it. No, they do not know it, and they will be the first to recognize the superiority of the future benefactor of the human race, that savant who will discover this remedy. Likewise, they recognize without reserve the superiority of a Francis of Assisi, and many others, who was a man of the so-called exoteric faith. They know also that each sincere believer is potentially a Francis of Assisi. Men and women of faith, of science, and of art are their superiors in many essential points. Hermeticists know it well and do not flatter themselves to be better, to believe better, to know better, or to be more competent. They do not secretly guard a religion, which to them is appropriate, to replace the existing religions, or a science to replace the current sciences, or arts to replace the fine arts of today or yesterday. That which they possess does not comprise any tangible advantage or objective superiority with regard to religion, science, and art. What they possess is only the communal soul of religion, science, and art. What is this mission of conserving the communal soul of religion, science, and art? I am going to reply with a concrete example as follows. You know without doubt, dear unknown friend, that many, and several of them are writers, in France, Germany, England, and elsewhere, promulgate the doctrine of the so-called two churches, the Church of Peter and the Church of John, or of two epochs, the epoch of Peter and the epoch of John. You know also that this doctrine teaches the end, more or less at hand, of the Church of Peter, or above all of the papacy which is its visible symbol, and that the spirit of John, the disciple loved by the Master, he who leaned on his breast and heard the beating of his heart, will replace it. In this way it teaches that the exoteric church of Peter will make way for the esoteric church of John, which will be that of perfect freedom. Now John, who submitted himself voluntarily to Peter as leader or prince of the apostles, did not become his successor after his death, although he outlived Peter by many years. The beloved disciple who listened to the beating of the Master's heart was, is, and always will be the representative and guardian of this heart, and as such he was not, is not, and never will be the leader or head of the church. Because just as the heart is not called upon to replace the head, so is John not called upon to succeed Peter. The heart certainly guards the life of the body and the soul, but it is the head which makes decisions, directs, and chooses the means for the accomplishment of the tasks of the entire organism, head, heart, and limbs. The mission of John is to keep the life and soul of the church alive until the second coming of the Lord. This is why John has never claimed and never will claim the office of directing the body of the church. He vivifies this body, but he does not direct its actions. Now Hermeticism, the living Hermetic tradition, guards the communal soul of all true culture. I must add, Hermeticists listen to, and now and then hear, the beating of the heart of the spiritual life of humanity. They cannot do otherwise than live as guardians of the life and communal soul of religion, science, and art. They do not have any privilege in any of these domains. Saints, true scientists, and artists of genius are their superiors. But they live for the mystery of the communal heart which beats within all religions, all philosophies, all arts, and all sciences, part, present, and future. And inspired by the example of John, the beloved disciple, they do not pretend, and never will pretend, to play a directing role in religion, science, art, in social or political life. But they are constantly attentive so as not to miss any occasion to serve religion, philosophy, science, art, the social and political life of humanity, and to this to infuse the breath of life of their communal soul, analogous to the administration of the sacrament of the Holy Communion. Hermeticism is, and is only, a stimulant, a ferment, or an enzyme in the organism of the spiritual life of humanity. In this sense it is itself an arcanum, that is to say, the antecedent of the mystery of the second birth or the great initiation. This is the spirit of Hermeticism, and it is in this spirit that we now return to the first major arcanum of the tarot. Of what does this first card consist?